From the Great Central Fire today, we had a great guest, Jesse Blair, uh, a longtime camper and staff guy from back in the early 70s through the early 80s. Uh, Boy, we were able to revisit and talk about his early days at camp coming from San Diego. We talked about when he was my counselor when I was a prep back in the late 70s. A lot of his camp friends were talked about, and there's so many good stories about his friends that he talks about. How he wintered in the falls. He wanted to spend a winter in the falls, and he went to Rainy Lake Community College. A few animal encounters on trips and things that stick out. And at the end, we asked a few questions to Jesse just to get some responses that I think you guys will really enjoy. So sit back and enjoy our conversation with Jesse Blair. Today from the Great Central Fire, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. We're bringing back an old Camp Kooch friend from the early 70s and 80s. So many people know him, and I wish so many more people could meet him. Very close to me and my family. Jesse Blair, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing?
Good. How's everything in Atlanta?
Everything's going pretty good. It's a little chilly down here, but it's not as cold as Michigan.
That's right. That's right. Boy, Jesse, gosh, I mean, we can sit here and we're going to sit here and tell tons of stories today.
Yes.
You know, you were my counselor back in 1979 in Cabin 7. And, you know, we had guys like Eduardo Torres and Steve Heinley and Luke Dye, myself, and God rest his soul, Eddie Reevy was the other counselor in that cabin.
Yes.
And we went on a canoe trip together when I was a junior, which we'll talk about too, which didn't go
Okay.
that well. And I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
But Jesse, I mean, I want to start at the beginning. And, you know, as we were joking before, you know, you're like the Jackie Robinson of Camp Kooch. You know,
Yeah.
You set the groundwork for so many. And I'll tell you, I mean, just a class act the whole time through. And I just want to start. I know you grew up in San Diego, but how did you find out about camp, Jesse?
I found out about it through Bob Hanson, who was a professor out at San Diego State University. And I got a chance to meet him because one of my older sisters was going to school out at San Diego State at that time. And her name is Julie, and Julie's 10 years older than I am. But she met Bob Hanson, and Bob really liked her as a student and everything. And one day she invited him to come over to our house, and he met the rest of my family. And it just so happened he pulled me aside and he asked me if I wanted to go to summer camp in Minnesota. And he showed me pictures and things in this camp booklet. And then all of a sudden he showed it to my mom, and then I asked my mom if I could go to camp. I was kind of begging her to let me go because I really, from the pictures, everything looked like it was a lot of fun and being in the outdoors. And I've always liked nature and being in the outdoors, and I like the national parks and things like that. So I asked my mom if I could go, and she said yes. And Bob Hanson, I guess, talked to the board of trustees at camp, and they put me on the scholarship fund because my parents didn't have the money to pay for me to go on the tuition there at the camp. But I have so many fond memories of being at camp, and I thank both John Holden and Bob Hanson for letting me come up there because it really opened my eyes to a lot of things as far as in the outdoors and the north woods. And
Now, when you got there, Jesse, in 1971, you were in the junior camp, I believe.
no, I was actually a prep in cabin 8, and
Okay.
my counselors were Mike Ecker, Rich Thompson, and Tom Hinman.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh boy.
Those those were my counselors at that time.
Okay. What did you think when you got? Was it what you expected? I mean, when you, coming from San Diego to International Falls, I mean, that was probably you got
It
thrown right
it
into
it
nature.
yeah, it was a it was a different setting for me, and it was just I really liked when I first came to camp. What I liked hearing the birds sing, especially the white-throated sparrow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when they do that, oh man, it almost brings tears to my eyes because I just it reminds me of my youth when I was a kid, and it's just really nice, really
Well,
nice.
speaking of
But
birds, Jesse, there's not many people that know this, but I know this, and I know you can still do it, and you should do it right now on this podcast. Do your loon call right now.
yeah, I will. I'll do it. I hope I don't wake up my neighbors in the complex here.
No, you got to do it. This is awesome.
Okay.
That is so good. You used to do that all the time. I used to crack up laughing. That's so good, Jesse. So your
Yeah.
times as a camper, though, I mean, you loved it. It slowly got better. You came back the next year. I mean, you had a great.
Yeah.
Did you go 8 weeks or 4 weeks or?
I went 8 weeks every summer I was there.
Wow.
Yeah. But there was a couple times I got homesick. I really did. And I cried my eyes out wanting to go home a couple of times because I missed some of my brothers and sisters. So, but that was a long time ago, and uh, I I had some guys at camp that used to tease me and stuff like that, but then there was other kids that were really, really good kids, and I think I made some lifelong friendships. And one guy I still keep in touch with today is Bill Easley,
Oh yeah,
and Bill's been a great friend. He really has, and
he's a
and
good
Bill's
guy.
Bill was in the intermediate camp while I was in the prep camp. So that just goes to show you that friends could come from all ages, and
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
And did you? I'm sure you hooked up with his counterpart, Buzz.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, I have. Yeah,
Uh,
those two guys, they were like peas and carrots, man. They were really
oh,
tight.
they're like Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you were in the intermediate camp, I think, in '74, maybe
19,
'75,
1974. Mhm.
and you were in camp in '15. You guys won the token card race,
Yes, we did. And
and
we
Potter
had,
Varley was in your cabin.
yeah, Potter Varley was in my cabin. Another guy who was a good athlete, but he had a bad attitude, and that was Bill Hilberg. Um, but he always seemed like he had something against me or something. I don't know why,
I don't know.
but
He's probably jealous of your jump shot or something.
yeah, we used to get in some fights and stuff. Yeah,
Oh boy.
and 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 then we had another guy in the cabin. Uh, he was one of BJ's students or something.
At Glen Estee High School, that's where I went to school.
Yeah, yeah, and
Donnie
and
Watson.
Donnie Watson. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a good athlete, good basketball player, good wrestler, good track runner. Yeah, he was good. But
Yeah.
we won the token card collection that year.
Well, I want to tell people, that year, '74, what else was going on. Um, that same year, cabin 8A was built,
Yes,
which is crazy
yes.
because now it's gone. And so a lot
Oh
of people,
wow.
yeah, so a lot of people don't even know where it is. I think there might be a Biffy there now, or there was a independent prep Biffy there, but cabin 8A is
Yes,
no longer.
no longer
So
there.
some people might
Okay.
not even know what I'm talking about with cabin 8A.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
The other thing interesting about that year is in backpacking was introduced, and so were the
Yeah.
bicycle trips.
Yeah, the bicycling. Yes.
Did you ever
Uh-huh.
do one of those?
I didn't go on the bicycling trips, but I did go on the backpacking trips. Yeah. Uh-huh. And the backpacking, I went with Jim Bond and and I was with a few other guys. Drew Henman was one of the guys I remember on the backpacking trip. And it was funny because when we were camping and stuff, I thought the mosquitoes were just as bad in going into places like Montana and Utah
Right.
and stuff. And I was telling Drew Hinman, I said, I think the mosquitoes like dark meat.
Well, you said that to me once too, and I said, "Hey, they're chewing me up too. I don't know what you're talking about." It's so good. Oh, and then you were
But
in the senior camp. Did you go down to Seal?
I went down the Sil River as a senior,
What
yes,
do you remember
and
there? Was that how was that trip?
it was really nice going on the Seal River trip, and a lot of times I would try to do a bear call, but way up north in Canada, they have those things called eskers. That it's like a big sand dune,
Oh yeah,
and one time I did it. I was talking to Potter Varley, and he was in another canoe, and I was going, "Hey Potter." "Mm, and all of a sudden, over this esker came this black bear, and
really?
the black bear came over the hill, and he ran all the way down to the shoreline until he finally recognized it was a person instead of a bear.
Well, they don't see that well, so by the time he figured it out, yeah.
Yeah, by the time he figured it out, he just goes, "Oh, I'll just be about my business."
Oh man, those are great trips. So I didn't do the Seal. I did the knife, but it's a great
Yeah,
trip, and
yeah.
that's a great part of the country up there on that. And I know our
One,
seniors still look
yeah.
forward to that big trip. Yeah.
Going on the Seal River trip, there was a time when we were coming down the Seal, and I I was in the bow of the boat, and I just so happened to get us caught up on a rock. So I tried to step out on another rock to see if I could get our boat off the rock. And it just so happened I slipped all the way in, and the water was cold.
Oh yeah.
And 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 I finally got back in the canoe and everything, and got the boat, off the rock. But I think it was Dexter Davison or Bob Meek. They told me to take off all my clothes and wring them out, and then try to put them back on, and let my body heat dry them out. So, but I did that, and then by the time we got into Hudson Bay, we pulled over because the tide went out, and so we had to pull our canoes up on the shore. And then all of a sudden, like while we were sitting on the shoreline, a lot of the campers were getting hungry, and so everybody wanted to get something to eat. And all I remember is I think it was Dexter Davison. He said, "Did you see that big white rock? It moved." And it was a polar bear with two cubs, and they were in the distance. We were downwind from them, but they were in the distance by about maybe, probably about 200 or 300 yards. And I just said, "Well, uh, if that polar bear is hungry, man, we're gonna be in a world of trouble." But Bob Meek had his big powerful rifle with him too. So, but
Oh, you were now. Did you guys paddle the bay, or did you get a ride across it?
we actually had to hike while the tide was low. We hiked to this goose camp, and we stopped in there. And for some strange reason, I was walking and I was walking, and next thing I know, I started cramping up. My legs were cramped up real tight and everything. They cramped up to the point where I was crying. It hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And Bob Meek just came and picked me up and carried me the rest of the way. And he carried me about another, probably about 50 yards or so. And and
And from
then
there,
finally, then when we got inside the goose camp, a fire was made to heat up the cabin there, and and then we spent the night there, and then we got up about 4 o'clock in the morning because some guy in a boat was going to tow our canoes and everything over to Churchill, Manitoba, which was about 40 miles away. And when that wind and that water started splashing up on the boat, man, I was freezing my garbanzo beans off, man.
oh yeah, that weather would change out there all the time. I
Yeah,
mean, it was just
yeah,
constantly changing. Well, that was your senior year. You were in cabin 18, I think, and
yes,
I know John Jolly was your counselor,
yes, he was.
and you were
Yeah.
in there with Jeremy Harrison. There's an old name from the past, and
Oh yeah, he was in my cabin on my first year too. Cabin
Potter
eight,
was in there,
Potter Varley. Yeah.
and Kyle Ronimus. You remember Kyle?
Oh yeah, Kyle Ronimus. Yeah, he was a tough cookie. He was a great camper too. He really
Yeah, he's a
was.
good guy. And a guy
Yeah.
named John Ward. I saw him in your cabin a couple times.
Yeah, John Ward was in a couple of my cabins that I had, and then I'm trying to remember a couple other guys I remember. Uh, I had a guy named Curtis Dyrud in cabin 18 as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
I remember Curtis. Yep.
but it was
And
really
then Jesse, you were on staff. I mean, and how was that transit? You look, I had you
uh,
as a counselor, man. All I'll say is this: I know there's a lot of great counselors today at Camp Kooch and
yeah.
Ogeechee, the new girls' camp. But I wish every kid could have you as a counselor. I mean,
Oh,
every
thank you,
kid
Jeff.
needs the chance to have Jesse Blair as a counselor. It was unbelievable, and
Oh,
the
thank you,
fun we
thank you.
had when I was a prep and you were in cabin 7 together with me, and um, oh, I mean, we loved it.
Yeah. Well,
How'd you like me to staff?
when I first was in the senior camp as a senior, that's what I asked John. I said, John, when I turn 18, can I come back as a counselor? And he goes, yeah, we'd love to have you on the staff, Jesse. And sure enough, I came back, and I said to myself, gosh, I'm going to camp and I'm going to be getting paid.
That's I know, I
I'm
know.
having fun and I'm getting paid for it.
I talked to some people about this. That's what a lot of people thought back in the day. You actually gonna
Yeah,
pay me for this?
yeah. So I was there in the summer of '78, and then I came back in the summer of '79, and then I came back in the summer of 1980. And then when I was there in 1980, I wanted to see what a winter was like. So I spent the winter up in International Falls, and that was a real experience for me because I did not know the winters could get so cold, like 40 below zero. And
Now that's when you
it,
were enrolled at Rainy River, right? Community
yeah,
college?
yeah, at Rain River Community College, and you know, one of the guys in the kitchen named Joe Gus, he was a dishwasher then at that time in the cab in the camp kitchen, and I guess he told the Coach Dave Horner, all about me. And next thing I know, he's asking me to come out for the basketball team. And I just said, well, I'm not even enrolled in school or anything. And he says, well, we'll get you signed up and all that. And next thing I know, I was going out for the basketball team, but I I didn't play too much, um, because they already had their players set and everything. I was more of a bench player, but when I came out there my second year, they wanted me to be a starter. And I told the coach, I said, Coach, I love basketball, and I know this is probably going to hurt your feelings, but I just said, we go to college for our grades first, and sports are secondary. And he still wanted me to come out for the team, but I just said, Coach, I really don't feel like playing this year, and I didn't, and
Yeah. Well, at least you
and
got to experience winter in the falls.
yeah, and I apologized to him later. Uh, as years went by, I went up to the falls and saw him, and I apologized. And I just said, Coach, I still think I was right in my decision by not playing, because there's so many guys that go off to college and they play ball, but they can't hold a conversation, or they can't even sign their own contract and things like that. And
Right.
I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be.
Exactly.
I
Well,
didn't
you
want to
probably
be.
got your skills probably got honed up on the courts at Camp Kooch with Kurt Roker and Gary Lineberger and the boys.
Oh yeah, and
Phil Perling.
yeah, and your dad too, and
Yeah.
they were some good ball players. They really were,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun playing on the camp full court basketball, especially after dinner, when they would get a whole bunch of guys to go down there and play. And I enjoyed the softball games that they used to play too on the field. And when John Holden would pitch,
Oh
I
boy.
thought that was pretty cool, because he used to have a real good backspin on the ball, and sometimes it was hard for me to hit it.
Yeah.
So,
Were you
but
there when he got hit in the head?
yeah, I think it was, and I think I was the one who did that.
I don't know if it was you or Pat Ecker.
Yeah, and I
There's
wasn't
a,
trying to hurt him intentionally, but I think I hit him in the head. Yeah,
yeah, there was a line drive he was pitching. It came back, hit him in the head, and the ball went straight in the air. I'll never forget that. The other thing I
yeah.
remember about those softball games, Jesse, is Bebo. You remember Bebo?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He would kick back then the beer, that was preseason. They had beer cans down there and everything. He would put the beer cans on his shoes. He would step on them so they were connected. He would crunch them on the back of his heels of his shoe, and he'd
Oh
go running
yeah,
down to first base with two beer cans on his shoes.
yeah.
He was a character, old Bebo.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And BJ had that old baseball mitt.
And yeah, he did. And one thing I remember about Bebo was, even when we had the grand councils. I used to always like it when he would do the snake dance or something.
Oh,
He had that real unique, stomp on the ground, and I thought he was really good at doing it, and he was a good dancer.
he was the
You
best
know,
stomp stepper there was. That's for darn
yeah,
sure.
yes, yes,
So our I'll never forget. I'm going to get into some stories here, but when you we've laughed about this, but we were in camp in 7. Steve Heinley and I, we probably the two smallest preps out there,
yeah,
and we're doing the around the island canoe race,
yes.
and we take off, and obviously no one can see you. There's boats following you going around the island,
Oh
hoping
yeah,
the preps don't get lost and whatever. So Steve and I are going, and we're hammering it pretty good, and we've got a pretty good lead, and it looks like we're going to win it. But I'm yelling at Steve the whole time, "Let's go, let's go, let's go!" And that's probably why I ended up coaching in my career. But I remember coming around the corner. We went and started towards Bald Rock, going that way first, and we came
yes,
around through the S curves and came around the point, and we
yeah,
were coming across the finish line by the main dock. And you were on top of the big boat. Do you remember this?
yeah.
And you dove in like a swan dive off the top of the big boat. Man, I thought you were going to swamp us. The look on your face, you were like stunned that we won it.
Yeah, I was really shocked, and I was really happy for you guys. I almost felt like how Forrest Gump was when he jumps off the boat. He's so happy to see Lieutenant Dan.
Well, we won the token card race that year also.
I think we did. I
Yeah.
think we did. Yeah,
Yep. We had a
man.
good time. And of course, Little Council. Let's get into Little Council.
Oh yeah, I thought John Holden was phenomenal when he would wear his little cowboy hat and get all the kids in there, and he would have the pillow fighting and the balloon races or where you had to take a lifesaver and put it on a toothpick and carry it across the other side of the lodge.
And change it with your
Um,
with your cabin mate.
yeah. But those were some fun games, and the witch's broom ride and stuff like that. Those were a lot of fun, and I'll never forget those memories. And as I became a counselor, that's when I always did the "We Will Rock You" song. And I was
Oh,
stomping my feet and getting all the kids fired up.
the whole lodge was rocking. You used to get the whole lodge rocking with that.
Yeah.
Oh man. What else sticks out, Jesse? I mean, I'm sure there's so many stories. I mean, and I know people listening would love to hear, certainly the people from your era. I just thought this era of camp was such a, I mean, I guess because I was a young kid growing up and I looked up to all you guys. But there
Yeah.
were some fun people there and some great characters and some great people.
Yeah.
And
Well, there was a lot of times where guys wanted to go into town to take a break from work, and they really wanted to hang out in town, but most of the time I elected just to stay at camp. I didn't really want to go into the falls because I was always afraid I'd get into some trouble or something, so I just decided to stay at camp. Yeah.
yeah,
But there were some guys that went into town, like Buzz and Bill and a few other guys, and sometimes if you were late to breakfast, you were going to be in the lake.
oh yeah.
The water gods were going to come and get you.
There's a few trips with the water gods.
Mm.
God rest his soul, Eddie Reevy.
Yeah,
Luke
yeah.
Dye and I found him in the wrong cabin one morning.
Oh yes, yeah,
You remember this?
yes.
I don't want to mention names, but he was in the wrong cabin in the wrong part of camp. And
Yes.
so Luke Dye and I ran down there and I got on top of his shoulders and we saw him laying in there. So we came to breakfast and we told Dennis Christensen, the old caretaker.
Yeah, Dennis.
And the whole
Yeah.
camp went down there and he was in his underwear and we chucked him right in the lake. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Oh man, he was a great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. I miss
Yeah,
Eddie Reevy. I don't know why, but even with Eddie Reevy, it seems like at times we had a conflict of interest of how to keep the kids on the straight and narrow and try to do what was right and stuff. But Eddie always just said, "Well, just let the kids be kids, let them have fun and stuff." And I said, "I understand that, they are kids, but I said you got to draw the line somewhere, sometimes."
absolutely.
And yeah, because you didn't want some kids just getting buck wild. Next thing you know, they're beating up another kid or something like that.
Sure, sure. Now
So,
I'll let you start the story about the Lawrence Lake trip that we took when I was a junior. I'll
mm,
let you go into that
uh, Lawrence Lake.
with the portage problem.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had a time when I was on I think one of the trips, and it just so happened that we had all the kids portage and everything, and our canoes and everything, and it just so happened that there was a set of tent poles that was left behind. So I had to go way back on the portage just to go ahead and pick it up because the tent poles belonged in my boat, and so I jogged across the portage to go get them, and I just told the kids just to wait there by the shoreline until I got back, and they did. and then I finally got it. I can't remember the kid's name who was responsible for the tent poles, but we just had them come up missing. So I had to paddle back to go get them, and then went to the end of the portage to get them.
So, what about the getting lost thing, though? This is where I was on a trip with you.
Oh, that trip. Oh yeah, that was when I was with Les Meek, and it just so happened that with Les Meek, we saw some trail blazes on the tree, and once we saw that, we thought that that was the right portage to go on. And it just so happened, I think Buzz Ecker and and somebody else that he was with marked the trees, and it just so happened that we went almost like in a big circle. And I told Les, I said, Les, I'm not real familiar with reading maps as far as the trip maps and stuff because they're so small. But I said I rather come off the trip and start from the beginning rather than continue to go on and we get lost out here in the woods because we almost did. And oh, John Holden was pretty ticked off at that time, and I told Les, I told Les I was really sorry, but I just didn't want to continue going on, and because the trail ended up in the middle of nowhere. So we had to backtrack just to get back to the lake. And but that was definitely a scary time at camp. That was probably one of my most scariest times because if you get lost out there in the woods, there's hardly nobody out there to find you. You know,
Right. So the way I remember it, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, is Buzz was cutting a fake portage to mess with Bill Easley.
I think he did. And
Is what I heard.
yes,
And then
and then
we got on that because I was on that trip and we started falling to blazes. And then I was out there and you came up upon me and said, "What's going on?" I said, "Jesse, I'm out of blazes. I can't find any more blazes.
yeah,
They just
yeah,
stopped." And
right,
you said, "Put your stuff down." And we spent like 2 days looking for the portage and couldn't find it.
right,
So now
and
we had to turn around and go back to the beginning. And
yeah,
that's when
and
Dennis Christensen, when he had his airplane, if you remember that.
yeah, yes, I do remember
And they were
Dennis having an
flying over
airplane.
looking for us. And every time they flew over, we were on a portage.
I I do
So
remember
they were
Dennis
freaking
having
out
an
back in
airplane.
camp. They didn't know where we were.
Yeah. Gosh, I sometimes wish I could get in touch with Dennis now, after all these years, because
He's
there,
still up there.
yeah, because there was a time where he took me up on an airplane ride, and he let me see a lot of the wilderness from the sky, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really nice. Yeah, I mean, he almost flew me all the way down to where Kettle Falls was, and and back. But it was really nice thing for him to do. Nice
Well, let me
gesture.
talk about Kettle. We're gonna try to get a group together, which you're on the list, if they can make it to come back in May. And Dennis is on that list for a
Okay.
week in May to come back to camp and paint the big boat.
Yeah.
A bunch of people from this era that we're talking about right here to
Yeah.
paint the big boat. And then once we get done at the end of the week, we're going to take a trip down to Kettle, have lunch, and come back, and everybody can go home if they can make it. So you'll
Yeah.
get something in the mail here sometime soon
Okay.
for an invite to come up in May to do this, and it'll list all the people that we're going to invite. So hopefully we can get a good crowd there. But I've included Dennis on that list. Yes.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah, Dennis was a good guy. I just couldn't believe that he even stayed on the island year round himself after I think Dick Seacrest passed away. And and you really could you really could drive your car across the lake when it was frozen like 18
Oh
inches or
yeah.
so. Yeah. And that's one thing I did is I drove my personal car over to the camp in the wintertime. And
Right.
I just couldn't believe it, but it made it over there. Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah. Any other things that stick out, Jesse? I mean, I know you got to say it's hard to remember when someone asks you to put you on the spot.
yeah,
Uh,
I I'm trying to think of the time where Bob Meek asked me to do the Apache Devil dance
oh yeah.
in the Grand Council, and I at first I didn't think I was good enough to do it because I just said, Bob, I don't know if I can dance like how you do it, and he just goes, well, just practice at it, and I did it a couple of times, and next thing I know, I did it. But when you have to do it with the mask on, uh, to represent the Apache Devil, it was much harder, to do it with the mask on. But
Yeah.
but I still enjoyed it, and I still remember uh, a couple times when I was at camp, and your dad your dad had that thing called ghost night, and he had a lot of the kids out there by woodcraft, down there by the sauna, and there was kids that would be out there in the dark, I mean, with no flashlights or nothing. But I really got scared. I really did, because I thought
What
there
was
was a
Ghost Night? I don't even know what that was.
oh, well, it was where, when your dad uh set it up, where if there was a lot of kids messing up, and stuff, he just says, well, I'm gonna let you guys like run the swamp, and just be out here in the woods in the dark without any flashlight. And sure enough, I don't know how your dad did it, but that's one thing I remember, and it scared me. It scared me where I started crying as a kid. And there was
Unbelievable.
this other kid named Bill Betrell, I think his name was, and he started crying, and he was a big kid. He was big like Kyle Ronimus. I don't think he was real muscular,
Was
but
it
he was
Fred
kind of
Bottrell?
Fred Betrell. Yeah, I think it was Fred Betrell. And
Fred Bottrell, yeah.
I think he really got upset and started crying too. Yeah, but
I would have too. Good gosh, Dad. What the heck was he
yeah.
thinking?
Yeah. But I think your dad was just trying to punish the kids that were really messing up and stuff in camp, and he didn't like it. Your dad didn't like it if there was some kids trying to get cigarettes and smoke and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't want to get in any kind of trouble like that. I didn't. I wanted to try to be a good example as a camper, as well as being a counselor. I wanted to be a good example to the kids.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions here, Jesse. Just a little lightning round here that we're going to start doing on these podcasts. Number one, if you could choose two people to be your counselors, if you had to go back tomorrow to camp and you had to pick two people to be your counselors, who would it be and why?
Uh, well, Bob Meek, I thought was really good, um, and he knew the trails really well. I thought Dexter Davison was good because he was a good cook out on the canoe trips, and uh, and I think and I think uh, Bill or Tom Hinman was good. Yeah, I thought Tom Hinman was a good counselor when I was a first year camper there. I thought he was really good.
What would you like about Tom? Anything special?
Well, the thing about him that I liked was he was really cool, calm, and collected. And all these years later, he told me, he goes, Jesse, one of my favorite football players was Walter Payton back in the day. And I said, yeah, I remember Walter Payton. He was really good. He was one of the best, you know. I do want to share with you on this. There was a time my first year, I was in the cabin in cabin 8, and it just so happened that there was this tick that got on me and bit me, and he bit me right on my butt. And I go, Mr. Hinman, I got a tick on my butt, and he just plucked it off my skin, and he said, "Go back to sleep."
That's the end of that one.
But I do remember my first summer there in '71. I had to get up and go to the Camp Biffy, and I walked down the trail to the Camp Biffy, and it just so happened I looked up in the sky, and it was the first time where I could see the Milky Way like how you see it in a National Geographic magazine. It just looked beautiful. And the stars were out everywhere. They were just standing out. It was gorgeous. Just a beautiful
Yeah,
night.
it's different.
I never seen it like that ever again. I wished I could. I wished I
Yeah,
could.
it's different seeing the stars up there.
Yes, absolutely. The Northern Lights, the whole 9 yards.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you something else here. Did you ever take the English River?
Okay.
Did you ever go down to English?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're at the top of Loggers
I
Rapids,
did.
okay? You ready? Tomorrow you're at the top of
Yeah.
Loggers Rapids in the canoe. Who do you want in your bow and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
What kid would you want in your
Gosh.
bow and why?
I believe Potter Varley was a great person in the bow. He was really awesome. And if I had to have somebody in the stern, I'd probably have Kyle Ronmus. He was a good sternman. Yeah, they were both good
Well, we want to
canoers.
know who was in your bow, so you're picking Potter Varley. That's
Yeah,
good.
he was good. Yeah,
Well, listen, man, we could talk forever. I mean, but this has been great. I want you to come back to camp, man.
yeah. I'm hoping. Uh, I'm trying to buy a house down here in Georgia, and I'm trying to do it in the month of July. But I have to start packing up my stuff and things so I can move into a house. But once I get
We'll get you
settled,
up there.
I'm hoping I'm hoping I can come back to camp and probably just get a job working up there, handing out food for the kids when they go out on their trips and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. Just to hear your stories. You can get
But
the gym rocking again. Or I'm sorry, the lodge,
yeah,
I mean. You get the
the
lodge
lodge,
rocking.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
listen, Jesse, hey man, we'll stay in touch, but I appreciate you joining today. And thanks so much, buddy.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. I really mean that.